You see, now we have the whiteboard, so when you fuck around, you're gonna find out. Yes! Well, 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 well. Well, 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 well. How's it going today? Eh? Making lots of discoveries on my show, looking spiffy. Maybe not being in front of the whiteboard next time. What's up, whiteboard? You see, what you want to do on the XY axis, you're going to fuck around. You're going to find out. That's right. I'm on the Z axis. That's right. I woke up late. That's right. A lot of amazing discoveries on the show. I'm not afraid to talk about anything or anyone. I think people like my ex-wife and my drummer have to worry. I think you really have to worry. I think you guys were running game both through the Facebook app. We've discovered that David, I was supposed to have the same fate as David from Majesty Crush. That's what was supposed to happen. And I believe this is part of the operation that was going on, the Facebook operation. I believe very specific people know about this. So, you know, in case you don't know, you fucked around. Now you see the whiteboard here. What's up, whiteboard? You fucked around, and now you're about to find out. That's right. Because I think I've already established that Jada Pinkett Smith used this weapon on Will Smith at the Oscars, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about it to anybody, and I'm not afraid to talk about Cash for Smells. You guys do realize that when they were doing Cash for Smells in New York City, that they were using paint rollers. Somebody climbed up on a building. Really, I'm the Neanderthal man. I took a 23andMe test. I'm on the other side of black pilled. I want to talk about that a little bit today. Can you come back from being black pilled? I know I am. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm reinventing myself, right? Because I understand what's happening with the AI. And what's happening is people are getting indoctrinated through the AI. I spent 10 years on the right, and now I'm a complete centrist. I think a lot of people were centrists until the mainstream media, I hate to call it that, but it really truly is. I mean, people are still watching this stuff. I don't know why. They are forming one set of the opinion, and then the alt-white, who are afraid to drink, who are afraid to swallow a little Bud Light, are taking the other side. Okay, so what they're doing is they're basically creating a new dialectic. The mainstream is embracing cancel culture. Let's cancel this person. And the alt-white are in respondent to cancel culture. So it's already set for you. The template is set. There's no reason for you to think about anything. You fucked around. Yeah, my show. Ooh, now you're finding out. That's right. I watched this thing recently, and they talked about how, what was it? Like somebody's mad because the math test scores are low. You guys know I do my show every day, right? I can't. The math test scores are low. Okay. I got a new space to work in. It's called a fucking calculator, you fucking morons. That's what I think to be real and true. I don't think math scores have to be anything. I think if you take a course, I think you have to learn some basic stuff. But I graduated from a Detroit public high school, and I can tell you how many times I've used algebra since I graduated from high school. I'm 57 years old. It's right here on the XY axis. You fucked around, and now you're finding out. There you go. You fucked around a little bit too much, like my wife and the Cash for Smells crew. They're up there. Cash for Smells guys, they're painting buildings using a roller. Yeah. Please, guys, go listen to Majesty Crush. They were a band from Detroit. Please go support any Detroit bands. Anyone from Detroit who's written a book, buy them. Don't buy mine. Okay? Don't buy mine and go fuck yourself. Okay? That's it. That's the end of the class. You got a whiteboard and everything. Tell you to go fuck yourself. That's right. That's how comfortable I feel. All right? So if somebody doesn't want to work with me in the project that's linoleum blown apart that you will see get made, because it's the greatest project to ever roll into town, it doesn't matter because you're in a negative space. You're over here. Why would I be concerned with you when I'm concerned with these individuals right here? So you can have all this little scuttlebutt that you want. I'm sorry my eye line is weird. Should I talk to you guys like this? Oh, sorry. Oh, don't forget, by the way, so the title of the show is in respondent to these morons who are snitches, who actually think that they're in a gang and they're complete and abject. I'd call them idiots, but it's a little too innocent for this trash. And my wife and my drummer are a part of this. Okay, so they thought they were going to turn me, quote unquote, into the new Manson. That's their big narrative. It started in Michigan, and it started with the Woods. Okay? Because you can't handle a guy like me playing oi punk. Boy. And then, on the other side of the aisle, oh my God, we have another group of individuals who think they're going to turn me into the next OJ. Wow, what are these people doing? It seems to me that they're confessing about who was behind these operations. And I'm not afraid to say it right here on this show. You get nothing but the truth and honesty about what's going on with me. I don't appreciate having ops run on me. Now, I would have to say, you know me, I gotta be honest. When I gotta put some money down, like I can't stand sports. It's a joke. You gotta put money down on sports. That's what makes it interesting. Okay. But my money would go on Cuckoo Kajube himself, the Tusk. Elon Musk, the Tusk. I would have to, but in my heart, I know that I think Zucky's gonna win the big fight. That's right. I'm not only working on Linoleum Blown Apart, the series that you will see get made, very gritty. It's gonna be very gritty. There's gonna be murders and a lot of sweat, a lot of leather. Ooh. But I also talk about what's going on with social media. In social media, you are indoctrinated no matter what. It's called confirmation bias, and that's what these AI that's ascribed to you is sending you. Pew, 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 pew. Careful. There we are. You fucked around, and now you're gonna find the fuck out. That's what I think about you. Make no mistake about that. So, in this episode, I'm not going to be anything that you think that I'm going to be. We're going to make this series is what we're going to do. So I'm tired of the threats, number one, because I've had it with people like my drummer and my wife. I've had it with trash like you, and I'm coming after you until the day I die with a civil rights claim. All we got to do is just tie it to Facebook. Ain't that right? So there's not going to be any new Manson. Okay, and there's not going to be another OJ, and there's already enough tragedy going on in the LGBT community. What we're going to have is me, the Neanderthal, me, the mangler, on the loose in the streets of LA. See, I already created it for you. Okay, I've already created it for you. And look, who came up on my scrolly scroll? Colonel Kurtz. So what's happening is she is taking on the mainstream media. And by the way, she had one of her animals were murdered. I talk about the shows that I actually watch. She's taken on the mainstream media. Why? Because the mainstream media is taking on the false narrative. Okay? And what I like to talk about on this show is the fact that they're using cancel culture to actually get out of paying people. Okay? They just ran an op with Marilyn Manson. Now, don't forget, Marilyn Manson and Johnny Depp are buddies. They play together. They jam together. It'd be awesome. I really like this. This is part of my property, which is called Golden Years. When I talk about guys like that, that's part of the Golden Years property. When I talk about Linoleum Blown Apart, that is a completely different property. And there's so much going on inside that universe. You know, I'm gonna basically Michigan slap. That's right, you son of a bitch. The shit out of the Marvel Universe. Okay, this is nothing to do with superheroes. This has to do with the regular man, the everyman, which we all are, right? The every person, the every individual. We're all individuals here. Okay, so I'm not going to be responding too much to these media deep blue stories, right? Because when I was a young punk rocker, we used to take the mick out of the media. We were like, fuck those guys, assholes. And then it became, oh my God, it's the hugest scene ever. Did you see who the best punk rock band is in Michigan? Oh my God, it's amazing. Yeah, bunch of tough guys. One person gets murdered and they use the likeness of a guy like me and David from Majesty Crush on the article, right? One person gets murdered. You know how many murders that occurred around me from the time I was a little kid, starting with a kid behind the Ramona Theater? How many murders started with me, you know, that I saw coming up that affected me? Like, wow, you know. Yeah. Well, they just have one, and they're like, oh my God, we're gonna cover it up. Yeah, black guy did it, huh? Yeah. Now, let's take a look. I got my computer here, so we're gonna take a look at David from Majesty Crush. We're gonna see. Now, the reason I was a little bit confused, a little bit more, I should say, was because I am Cinderfella affected, and that means that they will break into my stuff and I'll get false information. And I talked about this. It's like you gotta surf the Aggieverse, man. So, you get false information. Oh well, right? You have some kind of humiliation like cash for smells. Oh well. You keep going. But what you don't do is torture an individual. That's what you don't do. And what you're gonna have is civil rights lawsuit up your keister until the day you die. You have to worry about it until the day you die. See how easy it is now? You fucked around. Look. Oh, no, look what I found now. I gotta cut that thing off. Boy. Right, so, let me... Majesty Crush. Right? Tragic death. He died in 2017. He was acting erratic. They have me going down to the St. Clair Shores, Michigan, see, where I was born. Ooh, there's the fist, look. Oh, what do you know? The biggest dialectic is right in front of your face, the state versus the city of Detroit. Instead of having a nice, handsome, pugilistic pose for Joe Louis, they just have his fist. And then morons from Farmington Hills can put a can of Crisco in front of it. Oh my God. Yeah, pal. Yeah, we'll meet again. Don't know when, don't know when. Why are you asking me? Oh, create an account. I read it on Reddit, Your Honor. That's the only thing I was talking about there. All right, he died in 2017. Managed to discover this PDF. It's a report, detailed explanation of all the case that led to his death. It's right here, right on Reddit. I read it on Reddit, Your Honor. I was saying that years ago when I first started doing my show. I was scared to death. I didn't know what was going on. And I was victimized by this during this time. My family turned on me, and they turned on me. They continue to turn on me to this day. It doesn't even matter. Sayonara. You better hope I don't see you tomorrow, because I don't really have anything to say to you. My mother would rather hang out with a LARPer from the Lucrezio family than your own son. Hey man, that says more about you than it does me. I told you as a little kid, I was working in the corner store. I loved it. You know, it's like you want to help out. My father owned a property like that. I could have been working with someone in my own family. Right? Told you Neanderthal. Well, I'm talking to the monolith. He's a Stanley Kubrick freak. Not really. I didn't even know about One-Eyed Jacks. I'm not one of these people who, it's like I know a little bit about a lot of things instead of like, a lot of things. Right. So here's a PDF all about his dad. I just want to know that it was right here in Los Angeles. Yep, Dave was shot down and killed by LA police. He apparently had been off of medication. Oh, how arbitrary is this? How interesting. All they have to do right here, you see it? He's off of his medication. That's it. End of story. Chink. He's dead. He's gone. He's done. Wow. Interesting. I wonder. I wonder what kind of, they probably have a 50-50 deal with Third Man Records. That's what they have now. That's like it's called a 50-50. Okay. And this is kind of going into my property, Linoleum Blown Apart. In case you don't know, it's the story of a band like me, like my band. And the kid finds out that he has the same birthday as Napoleon. And so for 10 years, just one good thing happens after the other. One success after another, after another, after another. Guys, we're playing a show. We went from playing backyards and garages. Now we're actually playing in theaters. And then it just keeps building. It keeps building. And one of the only people who's with Lionel is Freddie, the drummer, right? Because a drummer has a certain place in my heart. Hey, is the Neanderthal on the loose now, eh? Fucking trash. Because I started off with Robert Reban, and I don't need anybody else. I'm not Jack White. I guess maybe I'm Jack off beige. Hey? And that's all I needed was a drummer, and I could play. I didn't care about a bass player because I would have to figure something out for that bass player to do. And I didn't want him to play scales. And there's a couple of my songs that are ruined by scales. My songs are ruined. I don't want them sounding anything like the way they sound. Believe it or not, the bones are there, but you would have to be an actual musician to understand this. Okay, we have the right? So the melody is there, okay? Sorry, I don't know where my eye line should go. You guys, leave me a comment. Let me know if I should look at the camera or not. Because up here we have walk around, yes, and finding out. I think some of you fucked around. And that's all you really needed. I mean, I really needed for my band was just me and my drummer. And that's how I write the songs. And that's it. And then, I go from there. So we're discovering a lot of things on the show, and we're doing it by what? Using the logos. That's the word. And that's why I don't have any respect for people who are sitting there telling you go to school and get an education, but they're beating you. Well, what am I getting the education for? I'm getting the education so you can explain things to me. I need things to be explained to me. I didn't need to be working at an Arab party store with Robert Reban and Dave Maroney. I needed to be with my own grandfather working in his store. Did you ever think about that? So I explained to you guys before, my mother ran like hell. She got the hell away from him. Her father, her brothers, anybody. And she struck out on her own. Well, she's one of 3 sisters. Who's her favorite daughter? Her favorite daughter is one of 3 sisters as well. So you have this mirroring effect in our families. What's my mirror to my sisters? My mirror is the bad man, the boogeyman, the Neanderthal. That's me. Look at me, man. What do I look like? Do I look like a Neanderthal? Do I look like an animal on the loose? Is that how Jada Pinkett Smith treats her husband? Maybe. Look at what my wife was doing to me. And that skank knew me since the 1990s, didn't you, skank? Eh? I told you I dated three women that were a little bit too close to my mother, or too close like her. One was an ecstasy dealer in New York City who I was ride or die for. So she was like a porn actress. She knew more sex tricks than a goddamn porn actress. Okay? Anyone who knows this person, I think the people who are coming up to me are cancel culture cunts. That's C-U-N-T. It's also known as See You Next Tuesday. That's how I roll on my show. So you want to cancel me? Go ahead. I'll start another channel or go somewhere else. Because I've had it. This is my show, and I'll say what I want, and I'll talk to the people who I thought that mattered to me, who do not matter to me. Because you fucked around, and now you're finding out right here on the whiteboard, right here. Right here, whiteboard. Hey, whiteboard, what you doing uptown? If you don't know these references, fuck off, okay? This is gritty stuff, man. I have that episode, it says nostalgia for the gutter. That's what it's all about. It's about the low life. That's what they called it. They called it the low life, and I actually lived it. I stayed on the Bowery in a chicken coop, as those are men-only hotels. It's a flop house. I stayed on Jane Street. I made love to my wife on 17th Street, flop house. And there was trans individuals there. Everybody was there. A lot of people from the community. That's why I can't understand what's happening right now. Nor do I care. Why? Yeah. That's what you did. You fuck with me just a little bit too much. So if you're going to use my likeness in an article about a murder back in Michigan, that makes you an accessory to murder after the fact. That's how the fuck I roll. So you want to charge me? Someone want to charge me with something? Yeah. I explained to you before. I'm with an ecstasy dealer. This is still VCR culture, guys. This is CDs and DVDs were barely coming out. That's when this was going down, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. I had been to jail before. I started going to jail in fucking high school. So who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Now you're finding out. Here it is. Here I am. Running the streets of LA. The big bad Neanderthal man. Ooh. Yeah. Sure. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up a little bit, okay? You guys gotta see these seats. Oh my God, I can't even sit for too long. I gotta bring cushies. I'm 57 years old. You better know that's right. I'm not worried about anybody. These people pull this creepy shit all the time, man. They come walking up behind you, all this kind of stuff. What do you want me to do? Like, one of these days I'm gonna catch a case on somebody's face. It's just inevitable. That's just what's gonna happen. Oh well, no police come. When you start yelling with 911 or whatever, they're not coming. And if they do, they're gonna data mine you. They're gonna take your stuff, they're gonna go through your stuff. I was with a woman who was like my wife, like my mother. She was a stripper, okay? Her name was Vanessa. I talk about her. Some person in our apartment building called the police on us because we're a couple and we grudge fuck and we yell at each other because that's what couples do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think there's a bunch of holier than thou people who did a bunch of stuff, but we're never caught. This is what I think about getting caught, and this is what I think about the law. Fuck you. Because I know it's arbitrary and I know it's targeting. I don't need to read a goddamn a manual or a comic book to know. I've lived it out on the street, and I'll confirm what a lot of people are saying. And a lot of guys are saying this stuff because they're reading it and doing little book reports. I don't do a book report. I'm actually writing a book. I have to write Linoleum Blown Apart. It has to be in a book form. It has to be in a novel form. That's what I'm doing now. Right? I'm the most dangerous man with a library card. Right? So I'm with this girl, Vanessa, and the cops show up. And they smell weed, and they push the door open, knock me out of the way. Within 30 seconds, they were in my girlfriend's panty drawer. In 30 seconds, they were in her panty drawer, holding up her panties, going through her all her clothes. And she's a stripper, you know, she has to have all that frilly stuff. When I was married to the slope-shouldered manatee of a fuddy-duddy in Queens, New York, I was buying that kind of stuff. I was sexualized. I would go to the store. I bought her a nice bustier, something sexy to wear. I hope she slithers back into the Atlantic Ocean where the fuck she came out from. Because she is the manatee for life. And she has to worry about a civil rights claim coming from yours truly. You don't take advantage of a good guy. You fucking... Boy, I tell you, I get heated. You're gonna tell me I'm not a good person because I got something on my record? Are you supposed to know about that? Or you want to sit down and have a talk about it? You want to call Yolanda in here? You know who she is? Hey? How much ecstasy did she move after that? Hey? I wouldn't know because I called her on the phone and I asked her, hey, are you okay? Yes. You want to get back together? No. Next month I'd call her. Are you sure you're okay? I'm very sorry, man. I'm heartbroken. I feel bad. Nobody can beat themselves up more than me. Right? All pun intended. You laugh as much as you want. I don't give a shit. This is my show. And I ain't fucking around with any pieces of trash from Michigan anymore. You fucked around in my marriage, you motherfucker. I'm getting you. I am getting you with every fucking dollar I can, and I'm gonna bury you, some of you motherfuckers. I'm gonna bury you. And I don't care if it's metaphorical or whatever. All I need is one. All I need is one of you. And you never know. Don't tell me. This whole thing might crumble. This whole thing might crumble when they find out that corrupt police officers and their skanky sisters are weaponizing Facebook. Maybe Elon Musk, the Tusk, might need this information a little bit, huh? Maybe it might work out pretty good. Hey, where'd you hear it from? Oh, some knuckle dragger down the street. Hi. Hi, guys. My brain was fucking melted, man. You know how that feels? You got a new Manson me? You got an OJ me? Oh my God. Yeah. I am the Neanderthal man. I am the Neanderthal man. That's what I am. I am the new man. Am I the new man or am I the old man? I'm the old model. I'm the old model. Right? Sorry about yesterday's show. I'm gonna try to never carry my thing around and look for from now on, I'm gonna figure out where I'm gonna do my show, figure out the lighting, and go to any library now. I'm the most dangerous man with a library card. Yeah. That's why I titled the show. Oh, by the way, look, no reflection. When you, yeah. All right, that was funny a long time ago. I'm not sure when, but. Okay, I can look at things on my computer now. I can't show you anything now because I don't have that kind of channel yet. Maybe I will. I don't know. I have to figure all this stuff out and I have to do it myself. I asked numerous people, hey, would you like to work together on a podcast? Sorry, I don't mean to look down there. No, Gordon. We don't want to do anything with you. Okay. Okay. No worries. All right. So let's take a look at some of the titles here. Synthetic entrapment, AI narcs inside the panopticon. Okay. That's what's happening. Synthetic entrapment. This is a form of entrapment. You're entrapping people. And now you have, it's called Dojo, DOJ, Department of Justice. I told you guys right here on this channel that I contacted the DOJ, the Department of Justice. I mentioned Facebook and I mentioned my wife's name, and I have an email to back it up. They got back to me in 7 minutes and told me to fuck off. Those are their words, not mine. I'm not afraid. I prove things on this show, and I prove them with my own life, like a real method actor and a real reporter, not some bitch boy from Royal Oak who makes up little stories because his mommy writes for the paper in Michigan. In case you don't know, this guy's had my name in his mouth for, 30 years. That sounds like a sissy crush to me, son. Yeah, you fucked around. And pretty soon, gingerly touching tips, you're gonna find out. Right, Cash for Smells? They were going around New York City with a rolling. They were rolling it because they were convinced that I guess I was on the loose, that I was running away from something. Running away from what? What? Some ecstasy dealing porn actress, cohort? Am I saying the wrong things? I'm sorry. Am I going to get kicked off? I don't know what I can say and what I can't say. Right? Because it takes one to know one when you're in a scuzzy place. And that doesn't define me as a person. But apparently it defines Cash for Smells. My wife knew all about it. Give her a lie detector test. She'd fail. Why do you think in Scientology, which we have every right to actually worship however we choose to, they use the E-meter? Because it's about absolute honesty. Okay? I'm not sure what part of Christianity is really about this self-examination and honesty, because it's all built on these false, non-etymological interpretations of the Bible. And I explained to you, the people who are calling me, saying they're going to turn me into the new Manson, they're so dumb they don't even understand what the eisegesis is, or the exegesis. They don't understand terms like historicity. They don't understand any of it, because they're just so stupid. And the people who are responded to these Cash for Smells ops are these morons who are on the level of setting them up, like people that I used to work with at Harmony House. I think you fucked around, and I think now you're finding out. Yeah. So when somebody's coming to me, and they're like, oh my God, I'll do this here. Do you think I'm out in the street doing that? They're coming to me. What do you think? I didn't know it's a setup? I write about it in my book, Two-Legged Animal. This woman picks me up and takes me to the Mirage. Okay, so this is part of a police officer tactic, and they can get you to confess to crimes. They can get you to do anything because that's their job. So she would tell me something that's really upsetting. She's like, yeah, this guy's having a heart attack down on the floor, and she starts laughing about it. He's like writhing around. So they're trying to be as cruel as they can. They're trying to get me to go, really? You know what I did? I go, hey, it's 11:30, put on Saturday Night Live. I'm not kidding. You probably have the whole thing on video. I'm sure they have video cameras all through the place. I'm talking about the room. I'm not just talking about the hotel, Cash for Smells. Okay. You fucked around, and now you're finding out. Absolutely. Absolutely. I could do a show like this every single day. I wrote a memoir, didn't I? I have all this experience as an actor, don't I? I was a production assistant. I understand these things inherently. Would you think that I was a production assistant and I didn't know that there's cameras all over Las Vegas? Like, what are you, fucking thick? Oh my God, did you hear the latest? Sorry, I don't mean to do an imitation of the biggest skinhead in Michigan. I'm very sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. Look into it for yourself, guys. I could care less about these people. You know why? Because they could care less about me. So you have people like Colonel Kurtz, great channel, and she's going up against Rolling Stone. Well, what are Rolling Stone? Rolling Stone are filled with cancel culture individuals. So that's forcing her to be a little bit more alt-white, right? And so this is the new dialectic. This is the new, right? Right? Because if you're, you know, you don't agree with one thing over here, then, right? So when we take academia to task, we're taking academia to task for, like, you know, teaching the same things over and over and over, the same people. Oh, this person is this person, this person. Well, look what they're finding out now. What is it? That Foucault was pro MAP, M-A-P, right? So now they're using that in the dialectic. I told you I was indoctrinated on the right for over a decade. They created this dialectic. Now they're going to exploit people using it. The Q Roseanne op was being run by Mike Flynn. He said that they wanted women from different parts of the country to come together, and look who did. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the prototype for this. Marjorie Taylor Greene ran unopposed. What does that tell you? They wanted her. They, meaning, you know, people involved in these political shenanigans, wanted her there to use her so she can also be vilified in Media Deep Blue and then be put on SNL to kind of, you know, make fun of her there as well, right? Which is fine. I mean, Mad TV, SNL, whatever, you make fun of them on these comedy shows. I'm sorry, guys. I was 10 years old watching John Belushi. You know, that's my generation. You know, I watch Mad TV, sure, but, you know, whatever. Right? So that's why they're there. And once you know this, it blows the lid off the entire thing. It's just like, oh my God, this is so stupid. Hey, look, how about we go to the movies? Hey, how about we go to the park? How about we have a picnic and make love, whatever. I'm hoping like this could be the result of blowing the lid off these schmucks weaponizing Facebook. And that's what it was weaponized. And it caused brain melt. Okay, so the next one, the one from 3 days ago, is called Evolutionary Mistakes. Evolutionary mistakes, or are we all in a simulation? Academic schizophrenia. Okay, that's kind of self-explanatory. And this is what brought us into the professor. This professor we're creating right here. We're creating Linoleum Blown Apart right here on this show. In case you're new here, what you need to know is this. There's two parallel lives. There's a kid in a punk rock band, and there's a guy who's a filmmaker. We don't know what happens to these people. It's still a mystery. The filmmaker makes a film about Napoleon. And the kid in the punk rock band sees this Terry Gilliam style film. Now don't forget, there is a Jacobin revenge scene in this Bonaparte Bon Ami. Okay, it's Terry Gilliam, it's gross out. They're using cannons to like kill people, so you're seeing the bodies like explode. They're fighting, they go from the desert to in Egypt, and then they go to the Alps in Italy. But I had to take the timeline out, so I just had to futz the timeline. But everything else works out great. The end of Bonaparte Bon Ami, unlike these other Napoleon properties by Ridley Scott and Spielberg, What Do I Owe Ya? The first person to use, you know, I like using product placement. I love it. Right? Bonaparte Bonamy ends when he becomes emperor. Okay? That's when the film is over. And the friend, Bonaparte Bonamy, my friend Napoleon, is made by Walter. But Napoleon himself is the punk rock kid. Do you see that? So when the kid sees this, he realizes, wait a minute, I have the same birthday as Napoleon 200 years later? Now you get this kind of garbage. I'm into claromancy. Check out my channel. I have playlists. I have claromancy playlists. It works like runes. Okay, this is how it works. It works like the gospel. When you're listening to the gospel and they're telling you about these people and what happened, you're picturing it in your mind. That's my special effects. They're so special. So you're picturing this stuff in your mind. And it's the same thing with claromancy, with runes, and the I Ching. It works the same way. Now, I told you we could create an entire religion, and I might have to do that for the property that's coming up. It's called A Clear Dust Jacket, and it has to be based on the Apocalypse of John, the Apocryphy of John, where a sect of Christianities, that's plural, a sect from Christian sect, they kind of fall into a hole because you have the Holy Trilogy, the Trinity, I'm sorry, which includes Jesus and the Holy Ghost, which is the mother. I don't know if you guys understand that, but in Gnostic terms, that is the female. So you have a male and a female in the male child, but they call it the Holy Ghost in Christianity. It's just the way it is. The pneuma is the spirit, the breath. Right? Wisdom is the horse, Sophia, wisdom, philosophy. Wisdom is the whore, because you can pick, you can choose. Well, I want to have sex for fun, or I want to have sex, basically when I'm married and we have children and we get canoodle with a wet noodle, or however you want to do it, whatever. So this sect, and I'm talking about, I'm leaping ahead in Linoleum Blown Apart. With Walter, his second to last film is called A Clear Dust Jacket. So I have to design this book that this religious sect who begin to worship a disciple instead of the Christ, right? You're off of the Holy Trinity. So once you're off the Holy Trinity, you're no longer a Christian. I'm sorry, I'm just here to tell you. You're no longer a Christian. You have to believe in the Holy Trinity. That's why the only reason I'm not a Christian is because I don't believe in the Holy Trinity. Okay? That's also known as Arian. So that's just what they called it. Right? Because I think the people who spoke the Proto-Indo-European language probably didn't believe in the Trinity until, right, someone like Constantine or someone like that comes along and says, this is how we do it now. We got to change it up here, right? Because we can conquer the minds of the people, and then we can take over the land, take over the resources. Okay? It's called what? It's called fucking around and finding out. That's right. I should change the name of the episode. It's the greatest meme this year. Okay? And we're here doing it. We're doing it live. I do it live every single day. I could do the show every day. I could do a 3-hour show every single day. My name's Grievance Gordy, but I have to write Linoleum Blown Apart. Why? Because it's my life's work. And I don't appreciate having a neurological weapon used on me like I'm an animal. We are not animals. Make no mistake about that. And I believe some of these women are out of control and out of their minds. I believe my mother and my sister certainly are. I believe they're sociopaths. I believe that they're embracing this sociopathy. They embrace it because they're actually wrapped up into whether or not, this, and I'm not putting down women's lib. Again, you guys have no conceptual notion about the pleroma. The pleroma was before God in the Gnostic texts, which that Christianity came out of. The pleroma is a human womb, and who do you think carries the womb? The female. The female has the womb. But with the medical future, what was Arnold Schwarzenegger where he's pregnant? I call him my Schwigger. That's what I call Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's his street name. He's got street cred, right? My Schwigger. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's his. Because you don't want to say the N word with his name. It's not cool. He was on the cover of Time magazine with Bloomberg. Right? You guys ever see that? Take a look at it for yourself. Okay, so we have. Are you guys with me now? So we're at Walter's 5th, 6th, and 7th film. Okay, and so again, when you have the gritty nature of Linoleum Blown Apart being a punk rock band, it's going to be like The Sopranos. It's going to be very cliche, right? Do you understand that was the beauty of the Sopranos, was that it was so cliche, and you have these cliches about the mob, and you have the practicality of it. But the best one, I love Billy Batts, the actor who played Billy Batts. I actually do know his name. He comes out of the closet, like literally, and he's mad at the guy participating in LGBT activity, and he's mad because he had to jack off in a tissue for 20 years. This is true. You can look at it up yourself. David Chase said as much, and they did a podcast about The Sopranos for quite some time afterwards, and answered a lot of questions. And Vincent, boy, I tell you, I used to know that guy's name. A great actor. He's been around for a long time. I think he just passed away recently. Right? He's like, that was his dialogue. He's like, I gotta jack off in a tissue for 20 years, and you're out there fucking dancing out. Well, don't forget that character, Johnny Cakes in The Sopranos. There's a scene. It's a pivotal scene, and he says what? His wife, I think Lorraine Bracco's sister, says, "Remember, you were the best disco dancer. Everybody called you John Travolta." Now that's a double entendre. I don't want to get into that, but okay. So this character, he's playing into this ego where he could go back and he could relive these ego, the times where he's like seen as something more than. And when they bust him in the LGBT bar, it's a leather bar, by the way, which is great. It's fucking hilarious. He's dressed in costume. He's dressed, they don't dress like a disco dancer. Look, he's in a different costume. So back when he was with his wife and stuff like that, he dressed like a disco dancer, probably more than likely. And I lived during this period, don't forget. I lived through the 1970s, and there were silk shirts. They were called silk shirts. Right? I got my phone down here. I could show you pictures of when I was a kid. Right? So again, when I'm talking about Linoleum Blown Apart, there's going to be LGBT characters. There's going to be multiculti people. Why? Because growing up in 1980s Michigan, there were multiculti people everywhere. What are you talking about? Now, there is cultures. There's a difference in cultures. Now, Eminem can go hang out with the brothers. I got to go hang out with the others because it's not my culture. He hangs out with the rap guys. I don't listen to rap. I listen to reggae. I'm like the guys in the Rolling Stones. I'm sorry, I just am. You want to put on some reggae? I can understand this culture a little bit better. Okay? But I don't understand rap culture. I just don't. It's not my culture. And if we introduce it in Linoleum Blown Apart, it's going to be the conscious rap guys up against, that's going to be the only dialectic. There's a dialectic in, obviously, you have to have these conflicts. I'm talking about Linoleum Blown Apart, the punk rock ears. So when we go into rap, and we leave it a mystery as to what happened to these people, and we can kind of come back and we can maybe tease. It's going to be conscious rap people who kind of hate these gangster guys. And they're going to be like, what are you guys so uptight for? Everyone's smoking weed. Like, how can you smoke weed and do a drive-by? Right? So when you remember the film Colors, that's how I remember Ice-T. Ice-T wrote the song to Colors. I don't think he was in it. I don't think he was an actor in the film. It was Don Cheadle and some other people. High top, yo, high top. Right? But, oh man. I just have just general aches and pains. Right? So he wrote the song Colors, Colors, Colors. Right? I took him to task. I think it was in this one. Majesty Crush, Murder, and Me, Getting Cooked While High on Soch Meds. That's another title of my show. Right now, we're in the linoleum blown apart portion of the show, and I'm sorry I look down like this when I should look like this. Hello. You'll have to tell me, and I'll have to look at it and see. I never felt so self-conscious, but I fucked around right here, and now I'm finding out that I'm very self-conscious. I was very shy. I told you guys yesterday in the, this is the Neanderthal episode. I figure I was acting very, I was being aggressive yesterday. Yeah, that's all right. People get aggressive. Right? Because I kind of got a crush on a couple of people, and after what happened with Slopey, the slithering Slopey, I'm here to tell you, you have to worry for the rest of your life. When you hear your name called, if you were in my band or you were involved in this, when somebody says your name, it's going to be a process server. So every time you hear your name called, you're going to think it's a process server because I'm coming after you. And we could crumble this entire thing. But, hey, whatever we got time for. Maybe we don't have time for that in our life. Maybe my nieces and nephews will get a nice little taste of that. The way I got a little taste of, what was that asbestos money? I got a little taste of my blood father's asbestos money. Yeah. Oh well. I would have rather spent time with the man. Yeah, absolutely. This is why I created this fantasy world of my own. I was playing on my jungle gym when I was a kid, living out these fantasies, writing songs, smoking weed like you're supposed to do. There's nothing wrong with it, Anyway, so the Majesty Crush episode, what did I come up with on there? Something. Well, I was just basically talking about what happened with Majesty Crush being murdered in 2017, guys. Let's look up Anthony Bourdain. I keep talking about this. Hey? Right? Let's look up Anthony Bourdain. Let's take a look. There he is. 2018. What do you know? What do you know? 2018. 2017, David Soder's acting out of sorts. 2017, I'm being crushed and people are laughing about it. Chris Connolly, that's what one of my counselors told me her name was. And I'm like, what's going on? Yeah. Hey? Big skinheads back in Michigan laughing about it, eh? Yeah. We're going to see about you. Yeah. I remember being at the old Miami, and I remember who the barmaid was inside the bar. And I remember some broad trying to get me in the bathroom to do coke. Who was the barmaid that day, huh? Jimmy, where do you think you're gonna go? Yeah. Anthony Bourdain, 2018, guys. What would happen if it was their device? What kind of case would this I can blow wide open. Wide open, guys. It's the device. It's this right here. Right here. My wife was using it, was weaponized. She used it for years on me, guys. We're gonna get you. That's what we're gonna do. Because you know what? I'm in Los Angeles, and I've tried to live here numerous times. I'm here because of my skill set. I'm a truck driver. I got a passenger endorsement. I could drive people around. Right? I'm a writer, an actor, production assistant. I'm writing Linoleum Blown Apart right now. And then the episode before that, I was talking about the dojo, where I was outside and I was piecing this together. So if they're going to be utilizing this tech on social media, look how many billions of people are on social media. Look at me, targeted by cash for smells. I didn't interrupt your stupid ecstasy dealing, guys. That's not my problem. That person was dealing ecstasy before I met him, and they were dealing ecstasy after I left. So, at the time, I was going to a place called Boxers. I was going to a place called Boxers, and I was alcoholic. That's it. I would go to Boxers, and I would eat the hard-boiled eggs, and I would call her on the phone to make sure she was okay. And I can't remember where I was staying. I don't know. I think up under by the Big Cup, it was called, on 8th Avenue, with these women who were married to gay guys for citizenship. I don't know, gay guy. I don't know what you say anymore. LGBT, right? So in case you don't know, they ran the Q-op on me, also down in Florida, and you know, that's why it's like, oh, okay. They were convinced they could get me to self-harm. They don't know that you have the power within yourself, not to heal yourself, but certain people do believe that, and that's why I'm not throwing away anything from Scientology. If you can get information from anybody, and it kind of goes into your makeup, it's anything's good. What are we going to do? We're going to cut the dross naturally anyways. You're going to cut that dross, right? When you're working on the your own alchemical transformation that we all go through, the gnosis, which is the mind. The gnosis, the knowing. Agnostic? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. We do know. We do know. It's kind of obvious. Are we evolutionary mistakes, or do we live in a simulation? What a bunch of phonies. Right? And now, like I said, we're allowing them, you know, to dictate. I wrote a song, "Don't consequences gonna dictate what I do." It's going into the property, obviously. You know? Don't let media deep blue dictate what you do. Why are they're driving the entire conversation? Now, what's happening is on YouTube, they're making all the alt-white videos, but you know, you have to be people like Alex Stein in order to do that. Anybody else, you know, let's just get rid of those people. You know, Alex Stein gets to do pretty much whatever he wants, humiliates an African-American person right on his show. Every single day, every day I watch it. Every day that I watch it. I don't mean to say I watch it every day. Boy, when I rewatch my old episodes, I misspeak all the time. I say crazy things. And I'm like, oh, I should have phrased that differently, because it's coming across like I phrased it differently. Okay? So I come on here, I do my show every day, and I talk about Linoleum Blown Apart. And what we're doing is we're working out this professor. This professor, which is part of the research that I did for Linoleum Blown Apart, so he's on Scorpius XL, okay? He just did 2 films. Now, I was talking earlier when this creep came up. Oh, man, these people are so dumb and creepy. So when Of Reasonable Service comes out, okay, of reasonable service. That film is put together by the studio. Okay? It comes out in 1945, and it's sitting in the theaters. Okay? And it's put together by the studio because they're the machine. And when they find Walter's notes, there's like, well, let me throw them downstairs and they'll type them up. And he's like, no, wait, I'm not finished with them. He's like, don't worry about it. And then they come back and he's like, oh shit, he doesn't know this. So he goes through the notes. He's like, no, let's add this, let's add that. So he's like, throws them and they go downstairs and they retype them all up. Right? And then they have 7 studios that they, or whatever, I'm just picking a number. 3 studios that they can like, hey, we're going to shoot this portion over here, this portion over here, this portion over here. Let's bring in the fake snow. So all this stuff is going on while he's working with Jerry. And so the studio thrust him to the fore as a wunderkind, the way the fascist government thought that they were going to. So when it comes time to his second film, Pork Chops and the Hoosgow, then you see what an auteur he is, because he has everything. And it's only his second film, right? So you see what an amazing auteur he really is. But because the first one is just like, before you knew it, it's like over. You're standing there like, And that was the whole point of, it's playing in the theater, there's nobody there. But it's an amazing film. But the war is over, the war ends, and so when everybody comes home, they're going to be using the theater to have sex in. That's the whole point. Is they're fucking in the theater. That's the whole point. Because when the guys come home, and gals, okay, geez, take it easy. And that'd be a great scene too, where you have like a military chick, like that. What was that? It was a movie. It was with. Frank Sinatra, and he was demure, and this lady cab driver was like, yeah, sure, I want to get you in the backseat, pal. And he was like, Frank Sinatra was the demure one. Now, understand something. I told you guys, take a look at Wikipedia. Sorry, I'll never do that again. And you'll see that his mother was a back alley abortionist and a feminist. That's right. And then he has this persona that he is a womanizer. Okay, what do we talk about? We talk about Carl Jung and these personas. That's why this cherry-picking fallacy, when somebody comes on and snatches up one of my videos, and they say, look at what he's doing in this video, oh my God. Sorry, I don't mean to imitate Michigan skinheads and Woods and Bloods and people like that. When it's a cherry-picking fallacy. So when you splash it all over the news, these headlines, oh my God, look at him. He looks crazy. Like, who doesn't look crazy? Look at me. Dude, I'm crazy anyway. Look at this. Like, who's this guy? Right? That's why it's not fair. That's why people who use my likeness in an article about a murder in Michigan, I'm laughing at you, bro. You gotta stress the rest of your life. You have to worry about somebody come creeping on you the rest of your days. That's why I'm not worried about it. That's the best part. I never played that shit. I don't play this fucking racial shit. But they sure do in Michigan, and didn't I prove it? I said yesterday, what did I say, guys? Jack White, alternative. Eminem, rap. Whatever Kid Rock is, when I hear a Warren Zevon riff, I expect to hear Warren Zevon. And the Insane Clown Posse. There you go. Right? They're all white boys from Michigan, the home of Motown. Hey man, what do I know? I'm just a wino. Thank you very much for watching my show. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know.